those subwoofers, dude, and check this out.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Warm welcome, everyone, to this webinar where we're going to tell you all you need to know about Google local inventory ads. My name is Petter Zachrisson, and I'm head of SEM at PhD and OMG. And together with me today, I have Fredrik von Avesa from WakeupData and Chris Lidell from Google. Fredrik, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Petter. My name is Fredrik. I'm a data integration consultant at WakeupData. We've been collaborating with PhD and OMG for a while now, and what we specialize specifically in product feed optimization, and recently started a partnership with Google for local inventory ads. And I'm very excited to be here today. I'll pass it on to you, Chris.
Great, thanks so much. I'm Chris Lidell. I'm the global lead of local shopping at Google, and I manage partnerships that help merchants get visible on Google for local searches. And very excited to be working with WakeupData. They're a great new partner, and excited to be chatting with you all today.
Great, it's great having you here, guys. So today we're going to talk about why we're doing this webinar now, what local inventory ads are. We have a case study for you, and we're going to talk about the benefits of using local inventory ads through WakeupData. And then we're going to end up with a Q&A. So PhD is part of the leading global media network, Omnicom Media Group. The group consists of global award-winning agencies like OMD, Arts and Science, and PhD. So this webinar is hosted by PhD, but if anyone who is listening in is a client to OMD, for example, they are also included in this partnership with WakeupData. And Omnicom exists in over 100 different countries. We have a very high client satisfaction score, and we are continuously winning big awards. In Sweden, we have offices both in Stockholm and in Gothenburg. And just to show you some of the fantastic brands we work with, Oatly, Volkswagen, Smarta, just to name a few. So Fredrik, can you please tell us a bit about WakeupData?
Yes, of course. So when it comes to what we do at WakeupData, could I have the next slide, please? That would be great. We have basically created a platform that helps retailers all over the world to connect to a wide variety of sales channels with optimized product data. And then the thought is that we can import product data into our platform in a variety of ways, and then this data can be optimized, automatically updated, and sent out to channels like Google Shopping and Facebook, for example. Next slide, please. Yes, great. And then within our platform, we offer a range of different features. We have an expression-based optimization system, which allows users to optimize and transform product data, like, for example, product titles, descriptions, etc. And we can create feeds from scratch or enrich existing feeds through crawling and scraping. And then there's the possibility to set up filters that are rule-based, which allows you to, for example, filter out products that, say, are out of stock. Besides that, we also have the ability to transform images and make them visually more attractive. And that's not for Google Shopping, but for paid social mostly. And then these are just some of the features that we offer. It's basically, there's a lot more that we can do, and we are constantly working on adding features to make product feed optimization easier and more effective for you. Now, as you can see, we have experience working together with a lot of the big channels and data providers. There's Google, Facebook, and Amazon, and many more for which we actually have created templates that help organizing product data according to each channel's requirements. Adding to that, we've created integrations with providers like WooCommerce, Shopify, there's Magento to make importing shop data more efficient. And then in terms of partnerships, we are part of Facebook Accelerator, and then we have our own comparison shopping service certified at Google. And most importantly, and that's what we are gathered here for today, of course, we are now partnering with Google for local inventory ads.
Cool.
Great. So basically, the reason that we're gathered here today for this webinar is, well, I think that we all know that over the past year, the way people shop has changed drastically. So with lockdowns, closing down shops, people have been relying more and more on online shopping. However, vaccines are rolling out, which is great, of course, and local inventory ads can in fact help retailers getting people back into their stores, into their physical stores. And even when that is not possible, in some cases, they can promote in-store pickup, for example. Now, we have gained some insights over the past few months. Our lives have been influenced by a global pandemic, and because of this, the brick and mortar industry has been going through some uncertain times, actually. Restrictions have forced us to make some changes in our shopping behavior. So we've been shopping a little bit more online, maybe. And well, I think in most cases, we can say that we've all been trying to limit our store visits and unnecessary shopping trips. Sometimes we were even like, we wouldn't be able to do any shopping trips because stores were closed. Now, in a way, retailers have had to utilize online possibilities more than they had to in the past, basically. And with things opening up again now, they can combine this with increasing their foot traffic in the offline store, in the offline world. Oh, wait, could I go one back? Sorry. That's okay. So what we believe is important is catching the shopper in the so-called intent stage. And I think we've noticed is that people don't really want to waste their time by visiting a store and not finding the product that they want. So right now, at least for example, I can say us in Denmark, we have to wait in line for certain stores because they can only have a maximum amount of people inside. I don't know if that's the same for you in Sweden, Peter? Yeah, exactly. So when you wait for 20 minutes to get into a store and then you find out that the product that you actually want to buy is not there, that's quite unfortunate. And this makes that the ability to display and advertise local inventory and in-store product information is actually becoming more and more crucial and an essential part of the shopping journey from online to offline. Now, we also have some numbers available. First of all, 33% of the Google searches are actually location-based right now, which means they involve the searcher's physical location in some kind of way. And then 44% of all users go online to actually confirm if a product's available in a shop before they actually go to the brick and mortar store. Now, for the next slide, an additional 80% of people report that they actually are more likely to visit a store and buy something there when they can view their inventory online before heading out. So this goes in line with what I mentioned before. And then we've seen 100% year-on-year growth on search for available near me and support local. And then this last point is actually something that I personally believe that supporting local businesses, local shops is becoming more and more of a thing, especially in my surroundings, at least I can say that. Besides that, retailers who might have been hesitant on moving to the digital space, so to say, before, have now been forced to do so due to the pandemic and their stores closing. And right now, they will be able to reap the benefits of both being online and offline. Now, when it comes to these searches I mentioned, like available near me, for example, I know that Peter has some nice insights on this. So could you maybe give us an insight on why local inventory is particularly relevant in Scandinavia?
Yeah, sure. So on this slide, I mean, most of you listening probably already know that Google is the dominant search engine in Sweden and in the Nordics. But I thought it could be nice to see some actual numbers. So about 9 out of 10 searches happens on Google. And this data is for desktop, but the market share is even bigger for mobile. And just to confirm that we see the same kind of trend in Sweden for some of the numbers you just mentioned, Fredrik. So this is searches for near me, which has gone up the last 5 years. And this is searches for in-store, in stock, which also has been rising. And another trend in many countries is that consumers try to reduce their environmental impacts. And in Sweden, we see that same trend. So as an example, almost 80% of Swedes found it important that the clothes they buy online should be produced and delivered sustainably. And if they can see a product they want is available in a store nearby, the likeliness is higher that they just get on their bike or public transport and get it there instead of having it delivered. So, Chris, can you please tell us what exactly are local inventory ads?
So local inventory ads are an absolutely fantastic advertising format that we offer at Google. And it really speaks to a lot of these trends that we've been talking about previously about the shopper intent before they leave a house, before they go to the store, how people are starting to search for items near them, and they have a variety of motivations about why they do that. And local inventory ads are a great way to capture that. So they show at the very top of the search results. So if you're familiar with our product listing ads, those are the images that show up at the very top for a product search. Except in this case, there's an additional notation that says the item is 1.1 miles away from them or available for pickup near them. So what's great about that too is that when people click on that, you have two options. We can either create what we call a Google hosted local storefront, which has all the product information that you need right there, as well as direct links to your store. Or what we find we get even better results on is when we can link directly back to your home landing page, because we really want to get people onto your site as quickly as possible to complete that transaction. And again, this is a little bit more information. As I mentioned, the Google hosted local storefront does have more information about the product right there, and we dynamically generate that for you. And then if you do offer home delivery, if you offer in-store pickup, we make that available to folks at that time to let them know that those options are available. And what it's really all about, it is the ad format that Google offers that is all about driving foot traffic into your store, right? We've got a lot of great ad formats that are all about driving e-commerce transactions and other things. Local inventory ads are all about driving foot traffic into your location. And there's a number of ways that we capture those shopping intents, because when we see a number of queries, a number of ways that people are really looking to search, they might be doing a search for a particular product, right? In this case, raw dog food, and we have a number of ways to demonstrate that product is available. We have navigational search, right, where maybe they're looking for a particular store, but they're looking for it in a particular location, right? And we have ways to highlight and capture that opportunity that I'll be talking about in a minute as well. And then we have categorical search. So maybe, I'm in Mountain View and I'm just looking for dog food, right? And we want to make certain that folks are directed to the folks that have that inventory in stock right there. And I'm going to talk again a little bit more about how we show that. And then finally, chain searches. You'd be surprised to know how frequently folks are just shopping for searching for the name of a store, whether it's Best Buy or Petco, frequently because they're looking for directions, But what we're finding more and more is because they really want to understand what's in that store at that time. And what's great about this is that when you work with WakeupData and you provide inventory data to Google, not only are you making it available for local inventory ads, but we have a whole variety of other organic placements where that inventory data can be featured as well. So Google Search, which is kind of the obvious, but obviously a great location director on Google Maps. We have new placements on the shopping properties where we highlight this inventory, and even on Google Assistant as well. So there's a lot of value in providing that inventory data. You get your organic placements, and then also you're all set up to do local inventory ads as well. And so, as I mentioned on a previous slide, I was going to walk you through some of the ways that we highlight this data when folks are searching. So the first is a geo justification. And so, we call this the Maps 3-pack. It shows up on a search, right? After you have your ads, and then you have a couple of text ads. Then you've got your 3-pack that shows up. And then what you see there on the right is because Dick's Sporting Goods has provided us with that local inventory feed, and when the shopper is searching for a Yeti product near them, a Yeti cooler near them, you see that blue check shows up there that says in stock products from Yeti, right? And it provides that additional assurance to the shopper that yes, this product is actually in stock. And you notice beneath that, we have Ace Hardware, where it says sold here products from Yeti. And in that case, all we're really doing is just doing kind of traditional Google screen scraping and spidering to find out what's there. It doesn't have that blue check that really shows that highlighted degree of assurance that that product is in stock because the merchant actually told us it was in stock. And that placement is totally free. There's no cost to that. When you provide us your inventory feed, you're eligible to start showing up with that geo justification. Next is see what's in store. So if you're familiar with Google My Business, and Google My Business is that wonderful interface you see to the right there where folks go every day to find a phone number for a store or get directions to a store. We're really building out that Google My Business infrastructure there. And one of the things that we're offering is called See What's in Store. So what this allows is the shopper to actually search the contents of that Dick's Sporting Goods location from within the Google My Business widget. And then from there, they click over to that Google hosted local storefront that we talked about. So again, it's another great free placement, costs nothing, provide us your inventory feed, and you can start showing up in this placement as well. And then next is something that we just rolled out a little bit earlier in the year, and this is free listings. And if you look to the right here, a picture of our free local listings, which look an awfully like our local inventory ads, but they're free, and these show up on the shopping tab. And so what we're really trying to build out is a world where shoppers, that they start their shopping journey by figuring out what's in what stores near them. And just like all of our search experiences, there's an organic component and there's a paid component. This is the organic component that the shopping team is putting together that's going to allow folks to see pages and pages and pages of great free results of what inventory is available near them. And then finally, we're making great progress in getting our rollout. We're live in 16 countries today, and plan to be adding much more in the near future. But it's a fantastic solution. The folks that are engaged with local inventory ads are getting fantastic results, and we strongly encourage you to get that inventory feed going with WakeupData. Get that free organic placement, and then also take advantage of that local inventory ad opportunity.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Now, I know that you have an interesting case that you can give us some insights on, basically when it comes to LIA results and what they can look like. Could you just enlighten us with this?
Yeah, and I think that the next slide kind of walks through a little bit of the story here. So this is a great partner of ours called Chibo, and they're a great retailer, based out of Germany. They have 550 locations, right? So, they've always had a great experience with e-com, and obviously they've got a great brick and mortar presence. The idea here is how do we bring this together, right? How do we take that e-commerce practice and competence that Chibo has really developed and apply local inventory ads to that to drive traffic into the store. And again, the idea here was, we have this great new feature that's called click and collect, that tells people that click and collect is available, right? It's a new annotation that we made available. And at the same time that we rolled out local inventory ads, Chivo also took advantage of another great solution we have called local campaigns. And local campaigns allow you to have ad placements that show up on YouTube and in search and in Gmail, text-based ads, but they complement local inventory ads really well to have that comprehensive, messaging to folks in the right geographic location. And as you can see, we really started to get some great results here, right? So when you compare, local inventory ads versus product listing ads, the folks at Chivo saw a 35% drop in cost per click, right? So very cost efficient. But they also saw a better click-through rate with local inventory ads as opposed to product listing ads. And then also, the cost per store visit when you compare LIA to PLA, because local inventory ads are really so optimized for driving that store visit traffic. You see a 59% drop in the cost compared to PLA per store visit. And then also, when they look at the count of store visits that they got, they saw a 70% lift year over year. So really quantifiable results from local inventory ads. At the same time, the local campaigns that were complementing the local inventory ads also had great results, with also a lift of 33% in store visit traffic year over year, and then also a great ROI with a much lower cost, 79% less cost per store visit versus the other media channels that they're working on. So as you can see, Julia for Chivo has fantastic, was very pleased with the results that we saw with local inventory ads and local campaigns. And we're looking forward to working with them to continue that success.
Great. So just to clarify to anyone who's listening what PLA is. So PLA is product listing ads, and that's actually shopping ads. So in Sweden, we normally just say shopping ads, but that's the same as product listing ads.
Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, sometimes at Google, we tend to throw our acronyms out and forget that not everybody's familiar with every acronym every time.
A lot of three-letter
yes.
acronyms, yeah. So what are the benefits of using Google local inventory ads through WakeupData, Fredrik?
Yes, I can give you some insights on that. Thank you, Chris, by the way, also for your insights. I can personally say that we've also observed some cases with great growth in terms of conversion rates and revenue, and that only in the first weeks of after onboarding on LIA. So that's great. Now, we all know, of course, that Google LIA is not necessarily something new. It has been running successfully already for a few years now. So why is it that you need us, WakeupData, in the process? Well, what we have discovered over time is that the technical setup that is required to start with local inventory ads can be a true barrier for people. People's knowledge about product feeds arise. You might not be familiar with the requirements, how to live up to them, etc. And that's where we step in. So through WakeupData, we can offer free Google LIA listings for a period of 12 months, throughout which we will be there to guide you through the setup of LIA and support you along the way in order for you to basically save a lot of money, time, and resources that would have gone into maybe outsourcing or figuring things out on your own. So we provide free onboarding, free setup, and support. And very exciting, we're actually the only official Google LIA partner in Scandinavia. However, that of course does not exclude us from offering our services to merchants outside these regions. Then throughout the whole process, including sign up and validation, we will provide expert guidance on how to generate the Google LIA feeds, how to manage them, and how to optimize the data so that you can get the most out of your local inventory ads. Basically, LIA needs data, and we are the data experts. So I would say that's the perfect matchup. Now, when it comes to how to get started, as an official Google LIA partner, we can take charge of a large part of your onboarding process. Depending on the quality of the feeds that you can deliver, we can typically have you up and running within about 2 to 4 weeks. Though, of course, each case is different. When it comes to steps, we of course begin with the moment when PhD reaches out to us and provides us with, amongst other things, the local store data from you as a client. Now, from here, we will ensure that all the necessary data is sent out to Google for verification. And then when Google has accepted this data, they will verify you as a LIA customer. From here, it's only a matter for us to do the rest of the implementation, align things with you, and ensure that you're good to go. Now, like I mentioned, we at WakeupData, together with PhD, are the ones who will walk you through the process. So if we go a little bit more into detail, this means that we will help facilitate the whole process that goes from gathering in-store inventory data, syndicating your Google Shopping feed and LIA feed, and then connecting the feeds through your Google Merchant Center through either FTP or SFTP. And the only thing we need from you is providing us with the feed and required information. And after that, we will do the connecting and formatting, so to say. So whenever issues arise or adjustments need to be made as communicated by Google, we will be the ones doing the error management to make it as easy as possible for you. Now, this table shows us some of the savings that you can make when starting a local inventory ads through WakeupData, through the WakeupData PhD Google partnership. I'll just take example B. So as a merchant with 25,000 products in 10 stores, normally the setup costs for a project like this on our platform would add up to around 20,500 Swedish crowns, whereas now this would not cost you anything. And then we normally charge a monthly fee for feeds to run on our platform. With 25,000 SKUs and these 10 shops, it will get you to about 5,000 Swedish crowns per month, though we will now take these fees away from you for the first year. So the only thing required commitment-wise is a guaranteed ad spend. And there's an ad spend commitment of, in this case, 60,000 Swedish crowns for 12 months. And when we do some calculations, this would make a cost of only 500 Swedish crowns per month per store. And then this ad spend commitment is there to guarantee you that there are, to guarantee Google that there are active local inventory ads running. So this means that altogether, when you look at this case, you as a client would be saving yourself a rough 80,500 Swedish crowns in total.
Great. Thanks a lot, Fredrik and Chris. So let's jump into the Q&A. And we're going to try and answer some of the questions you asked before this webinar. But don't forget that you can also ask questions in the chat. What's the difference between local campaigns and local inventory ads? Chris, do you want to answer this?
Yes. So local inventory ads are a graphical ad format, right? So those are the ads that show up at the very top of the search results on Google searches. It's got a picture. It's got an annotation that says where the item is and where the store is relative to the shopper. And it provides a link directly back to either a Google hosted local storefront or the merchant site. Local campaigns are ads that show up in a variety of places on Google, but that are just triggered by geography. So it's kind of standard searches, but they would show up. But the results would start to show up not only in Google search. You'd also start seeing the follow-up advertising show up in Gmail and in YouTube as well. So it starts kind of showing up in various places where that shopper is based on their geography. So they look like a little bit more like other Google ad formats that you've seen. They're just triggered in a geographical campaign that makes it easy to run.
Cool, thanks. So what are the minimum requirements to start local inventory ads? And can anyone be onboarded? Good question. Fredrik, you want to take this?
Yes, I can take that. Well, first of all, it should be noted that it is not possible for automotive retailers to use local inventory ads. And besides that, mostly all verticals have access, though This goes for clothing and apparel, to home and garden, to pharmaceutical, beauty and accessories, and so on and so forth.
So same as for shopping.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Now, when it comes to the minimum requirements for a retailer, you can already start with LIA with just one store. And then it's just a matter of committing to the ad spend, as I mentioned before, and having a Google Merchant storefront, being set up on Google My Business and Google Merchant Center, and that's it. And then the last thing you have to keep in mind is the data requirements, and that's, of course, very important for us also, where we need product data. So that's data that basically defines the different products you're selling. That comes to like title, description, IDs. Then we need price data that speaks for itself. We need inventory data, so individual store codes, product IDs, stock quantities, etc. And then lastly, there's the pickup data, which basically outlines if store pickup is possible and under which terms that goes. But altogether, almost anyone can be onboarded for LIA. Though, Chris, correct me if I'm saying anything by mistake, and let me know if you have anything to add to this.
No, I think that's all right. I think the one thing I would say is that, you do need to have access to inventory data, right? So I think one thing that we find frequently is, depending on what type of merchant you are and how old your systems are, there might be a little bit of a challenge actually surfacing that inventory data. But anybody who's doing buy online, pick up in stores already has access to that data. So I think that would just be the other thing to keep in mind is how readily available is your inventory data.
Yes.
Good point. Thanks, guys. Can I use smart bidding on local inventory ads? And I can answer this one. It's a short answer. Yes, you can. Next question. How can I measure a store visit going through a local inventory ad? Yeah, that's a great question. How do you know if a person actually has visited the store? And I take this as well, and I have actually prepared a help slide to try and explain it beforehand. So, So I remember when Google introduced this store visit metric in Google AdWords in 2014, I think. And we asked a lot of questions like, how is this working? How do you know, Google, that the person that has clicked the ad actually has visited the store? And the clients were asking us the same thing. And with help of this slide, I'll try to explain it. So to be able to measure store visits, the user needs to be logged into Google and chooses to share their location history. And Chris, jump in at any time if you think I missed something here. After that, Google uses their enormous data from Google Maps, store coordinates, GPS location signals, Wi-Fi scanning, and I actually see numbers that Google can measure if the users have visited a store with like 99% accuracy. And there's also other checks, like the user must be in the store for a certain amount of time for a visit to count. There's also excludes visits if they're over a certain amount of time. So not counting sales staff in the store, for example. And all of this data is, of course, anonymized. And you can actually calculate an average store purchase value and optimize towards store visits and include that conversion value in your reports. So you start measuring omnichannel KPIs. But yeah, talking about that could be a full webinar on its own. So if you want to know more, just reach out to us at PhD and we will gladly answer. So shopping ads and local inventory ads work well together. Chris, you're nodding. Can you take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they do absolutely very nicely. And so the way you think about it is, if you're an omni-channel retailer, right? When you set up your local inventory ads with your shopping ads, if the person is within the geographical radius that you set, they're going to see a local inventory ad. If the person is outside of the local inventory ad radius that you set, they're going to see a shopping ad. So you can run those campaigns concurrently. You're going to capture people wherever they are. If they're outside the radius for an in-store visit or outside the radius for an buy online pickup and store pickup, you can still drive that shopping ad to get them to the website for e-commerce purposes. So they work in tandem very nicely.
Great. That's the questions we had. Thank you so much. And if you have any more questions, we will be available in the chat. And if you want to contact us later, if a question pops up afterwards, don't hesitate to send an email to info.sweden@phdmedia.com. And Fredrik and Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.